Good evening and welcome to the Invictus Racing League F2 League, brought to you in partnership with gridfinder.com. I'm Mark, alongside me in the commentary box is Ellen. Ellen, are you ready for the Grand Prix of Spain?
I am, mate, yes, and we are here with the F2 guys once again. A dramatic race last week in Austria, wasn't it? And what resulted from last week's race was Michael Lutke, a bit of a surprise. I think even he would say that he's leading the championship, Mark.
Yeah, he's leading the championship. He got two podiums, P2 around Bahrain, P3 around Austria, and he is the man on form. He's just really consistent. He's not making any mistakes, not any like that, and yeah, but he is just on form, I think.
He is on form, and I think what he's done really well, Michael Lutke, this season is he's kept himself out of trouble. He may have not been the fastest guy around the track. He might even admit that to himself. But what he has done is kept it clean and kept himself out of trouble. And he's got well-deserved podiums. And the question for you is, Mark, he's had a second and a third place. Can he get a first place tonight?
Well, if he can keep it this clean, I can't see why not. It's I think he maybe needs to find a little bit pace in quali, and if he can find that, then I can see it definitely happening. Good evening, Robin, aka Living Wall from the PlayStation F1 League. Welcome, Daryl as well. Good evening, guys. So looking back at Austria, mate, we saw the first race win of SFR Martin in this season. In Bahrain, he crashed, DNF'd. He got a winner at Austria. That's a strong result. What do you expect from him today?
Well, he looked pretty quick in qualifying as well, over 1 lap pace. And you forget, in Austria, he actually had a little spin, didn't he, at turn 1. Luckily, didn't collect the barrier or anything, and managed to get back in within the race and ended up winning. He thoroughly deserved it. He had lightning pace, and it would have been interesting to see what he could have done if he hadn't have had that little spin as well. So I think Martin is definitely one to keep an eye on tonight. I think another one to keep an eye on, I think one guy is Smoke. I think Smoke, he's had a difficult start to the season, but from what I've seen of him in past IRL races and championships, he's a really fast guy, and so far that's not quite worked out for him tonight. So I've got a feeling that tonight Smoke could be in and around the podium places, as long as he stays out of trouble, of course, because quite like a lot of people last week, a lot of people unfortunately were tripping up over each other. But I've just got a feeling, Mark, that Smoke could be one to watch tonight. It's probably going to be wrong, who knows, but I'm sure Smoke will be hoping I'm right.
Yeah, who knows, and I guess we'll find out very soon. Good evening to you, Rens, Tirach, Meronate. Meronate is predicting Joe to crash out at lap 8. And Tirach thinks he will join quickly after, so let's hope they don't. Before we start, go to the qualifying, let's take a quick look at the constructor standings, because Red Bull is having quite a healthy lead at the moment. They are on 30 points, Michael Lutke and Tinus Optioneel, compared to the Alfa Romeo of Kessa and Simon Palmer on 18 points. Then Merck, 17 points, so it's really close after, but Red Bull scored really well in the first 2 races. Are they the early favorites to win the constructors?
I'd say so, and this is what I had to sit down with Michael Lutke just to talk about how the season's gone for him, and we spoke about the excellent start for them as a team. Not only has Michael Lutke had a really good start to the season, but I thought Tinus last week had a great race as well. Tinus, he started P16 on the grid, ended up getting all the way up to P5, so a really amazing result for Red Bull overall last week. We'll be shortly finding out if we're going to get some rain. It looks pretty clear, Mark, but just to carry on with what I was saying, he was basically saying, Michael, that they're hoping that they can keep up with the consistent point scoring and try and be there or thereabouts towards the end. These two are two former F3 drivers, new into F2 this season, so like I say, if you could keep yourself clean, keep scoring consistent points, I can't see why Red Bull couldn't possibly be there right at the end fighting for constructors' titles.
Yeah, definitely. But well, first of all, still early season, so let's see what the guys can do in the qualifying around Spain. It looks to be like perfect racing weather to me. It's I think there's a little bit of sun there, so it's looking good. And also for tonight, we have a new face on the grid in Waitsy, who will be driving for Ferrari, and it will be interesting to see what he can do. But let's ride aboard with Simon Palmer in the Alfa Romeo, who is the first guy out on the outlap in the long right-hander in Sector 1. So let's see, I think he will be the first guy to start the flying lap. Do you got any news from our weather reports, guys?
I haven't heard any news regarding the weather just yet, Mark, but as soon as I try and find out, I shall be right on it. If you carry on with how Simon's going on, I'll try and find out in due course.
Perfect, will do. Good evening, Burmeister. Good evening. Let's go back to Simon, who has just entered Sector 3. And he is coming up to the really tricky chicane to enter the start-finish straight. It can make or break your lap. So let's see how he does that. In second gear, third on the exit, and there he goes onto the first flying lap. And we ride aboard with him to see how he goes. DRS wide open on the start-finish straight. Approaching turn 1. Will he take as much of the track as possible or keep it on the grey stuff? He extends the track just a little bit. But so far it looked good. Into the long right-hander. He kept it clean, kept it on track. So that's good to see. He didn't quite maximize all the track there. But he might be just doing a banker lap and betting on a clean lap instead of the fastest possible. So sector 1 is done. Up to the tricky second sector. It's a very fast right-hander coming up now. Will he take it to 6th or 7th? He takes it in 6th gear. Nice and tidy. DRS open again. Into the new left-hander corner. It's of course changed. But it seems like Simon is doing it pretty good so far. 4th gear now. Coming up to the last chicane. What lap time will we see from Simon in the Alfa Romeo? We'll soon find out. He is coming up to the start-finish straight now in a time of 1:18.1.
I'm just riding on board with Sunboy. Sunboy coming around for his first flying lap of the evening and slots it up with a 1:18.1 himself. But look at that. 0.003 of a second difference between him and Simon Palmer. That is absolutely nothing. And a quick weather report for you. It looks like we're going to be getting a mixture of rain and sun, but there's quite a few guys not sure if it's going to be raining at the beginning or rain towards the middle of the race. So this could be quite exciting, Mark, because this is going to be this qualifying, I should say, could be absolutely crucial. Because if it is wet at the beginning of this race, then I think you're going to want to be right at the very front, aren't you, to try and get out of that spray and get on ahead and not make too many mistakes. But it does sound like, Mark, we're going to have a real mixed up, in terms of weather, race.
That's going to be interesting. And I just got a little fact from the guys in the chats, and this is one I am willing to share, because I think, Adam, we need to congrats Simply90 because he became a dad yesterday.
Wow.
So congrats to you, Simply.
Congratulations, Simple. Yeah, huge congratulations.
So, let's get back to the racing now. Because Kuipers in the professional pole with a 1:18 flat. Sunboy, P2 18.1, Simon 18.1, and then there's a bit of a gap to Ginger Tiger in P4. So, let's ride aboard with Rosman just about to start his lap in sector 1 with his Merc. What surprises me just a little bit is entering turn 1, they are not using all the track possible. They stay just just on the tarmac, and I think they can just extend a little bit more of the track to get a better entry of the corner and therefore a better exit as well. But maybe they're just playing safe in this part of the qualifying session.
I'm just riding on board with last week's race winner, Martin, the Alpine driver. We've got an Alpine in second place at the moment. It'll be fascinating to see what Martin can do on his first flying run of this evening. That car on the left just nicely gets out of the way. So can Martin carry some of his qualifying form into this week as well? He's already got purple first sector, Mark.
Well, that's looking good for him then. And I think there's still plenty of time to find. Of course, we have the track development. It will get faster and faster when it gets rubbered in. Do you know what time we are looking at for a pole position, or just completely blank for you?
For me, it's probably more of a guess. I'd say at the moment, maybe the mid-17s. I'd say maybe 17.6, 17.5, maybe. Just watching Martin now, and he's looking like he's going to be very close to the top of this leaderboard, even maybe top. We shall soon see. He's just got a couple of corners left to do if you just stay with me just for this little bit. Final corner, he's navigated that nice chicane, and round the final corner, what can Martin do? Can he dislodge Kuipers at the top? No, he can't. But look at that. There's not much in it, but it's only putting P4, a 118.127. So, yeah, Martin there with some work to do, but then he's not too far off either. So, yeah, I think on his next run, Martin might go a bit closer.
Yeah, interesting to see. It's so close at the top. And Robin made a guess for the pole time. He thinks it will be a 17.6. I think we will go faster. I think the pole time will be around 17.3 or 4 maybe. Let's see. If you're in the chat now and you're enjoying this qualifying session, let us know what you think the pole time will be. Let us know. And at the end of this qualifying session, we'll see who got closest to it. So let's go back on track. Tirach is on a flying lap, just on sector 2. It looked to me as there was a purple sector 2, so let's see what he can do now in sector 3. Looks like a little bit slow, but sometimes the slower it looks, the faster it actually is. Coming up to the main straight, he brings it home at a 117.9.
Nice lap. And I'm just riding on board again with Sunboy. Started off the evening pretty well, not too far ahead of Simon Palmer. Sunboy is going quicker as well as he comes up to the end of the second sector, and he's 2 and a bit tenths up. So this will put him right with Tirach if he can nail this final sector here. Sunboy, he's having a good evening so far. He'll be hoping to take this form into the race, because the race hasn't really worked for Sunboy yet, but he's clearly got the pace to battle at the front this evening. So round the final corner now, what can Sunboy do? He's definitely going to improve. Can he put it to the top? Yes, he can. Look at that, a 17.6 mark. That is a great lap.
Yeah, that's a really good lap time for Sunboy. It's a 17.6, and I think if he is quick, he can do 2 more runs. So there's plenty of time to improve for him. So yeah, let's see. And Daryl mentioned Joe with a really strong first qualifying lap with a 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Yeah, Daryl thinks he has forgotten that he is aiming for a 117, not a 217. Yeah, maybe that's the case. And Ivan, good evening, mate. And no, I don't have any secrets, mate. Don't have any secrets. Greg told me a lot of stuff, but no secrets. So let's see what Simon Palmer can do. Adam, he's in sector 3. He was a bit quicker on his sector 2 time. So let's see if he can improve. If he can only improve for like 2 tenths, he will be in second place. And he is coming into the pits. So that's not an improvement for Simon there.
I'm just keeping an eye on the Alpha Tauri driver of Dave DeCarle. He's down in P12, but he's half a second up on his previous time, a time of a 118.9. So definitely going to see him improve. Where's he going to put him? He should put him well within the top 10, I should say. He was a bit all out of shape in the final corner. What's it going to do for him? Puts him to P6. I think he lost a little bit of time in the final 2 corners there. So Dave DeCarlo may have done a 1:18.1, maybe a 1:18.2 if they hadn't made that slight mistake. But it's a good improvement for him into now P7.
Yeah, it's a proper lap time for Dave. 18.3, that's a decent lap. And I'm riding about to Kuipers now. He is improving. Kuipers is improving on his lap. So let's see what he can do. He's got an 18 flat now. The professional pole is 17.6. Can he actually beat that? His final corner looks really good and strong. Really good traction, and it is a 17.7. He is close though.
Wow. Good lap from Kuipers there. I was just riding on board with JP, and he's in all sorts of bother trying to get his car facing around the right way now. He was facing the wrong way on the final corner, but he's eventually got it the right way around, and into the box it comes. So a bit of a disaster for JP911. It wasn't in P10, so P11 there. So I don't know what to really say at the moment. Go on, Mark.
That's a really good lap time there for the Dutchman Michael Lutke, the leader in the championship, into P3 with a 17.9. Nice. That's a really good lap time.
It is, and I think it's going to be interesting. I can't call yet who's going to get this pole position, but somebody you're going to have to say we're just over 5.5 minutes left. Somebody is in the best place at the moment, but I think he's just cut. Yeah, he's out on an outlap now. So Tirac, I think, is maybe one to keep an eye on. He's again another one who's really good. 1 lap pace, just not quite worked out in race pace. Tirac in 4th place at the moment, 17.9. He's got about 3 and a bit tenths to find on this next lap mark. Do you think he can do it?
I know he's got the straight of the 1 lap pace, so I hope for him he can do it. The closer it gets at the front, the better it is for us, I guess. So I think he can do it, but it's so hard in this track to keep it all together, you know, to get a perfect lap. It's a pretty technical track, and it's a bit like a karting track. You need to ride the curbs, and it's so easy to lose the back end of the car and spin out, and as well as the tire temperatures, they will be really important to keep in the right window. And here we see Simply finally going out. He will be out for his first timed lap. He's on the outlaps. Let's see what Simply can do. Usually when you became a father, I think you are losing like 3/10, right? Let's hope it doesn't count for Simply. I got to say though, I don't know if his wife is still awake, but it's really nice from her to let him race the day after his kid is born. That's the spirit. That's what I like, Simply. Keep at it, bro. There we go. On to the main straight.
Just to quickly say, Mark, Tirac is 2.5 tenths up coming into the final sector. So Tirac is going to be... Oh, he's lost it! Oh, no! Tirac has lost it through a tricky left-right of the final sector, and that awesome looking lap what is going to be is resulted in spinning out. So the pace is there for Tirac. Luckily, he didn't do it after the pit entrance, so he's managed to sneak his way back into the pits, and he'll definitely have another go, because I'm sure he can get to the 17.6s. It looked like it was going to be a fast lap.
Yeah, that's what you call a proper commentator, Chris. He won't be happy with you now, mate, I think. But,
no.
Let's go back to Simply in the Williams, who is going to do his first timed lap. Let's see what he can do. I do expect Simply to be near the top 5, I think. I think he should be able to do like a low 1:18. Maybe even quicker, I don't know. Let's see what he can do. He is looking clean so far. I got to say it, and I really do like the livery of the Williams in this game. It looks clean.
Yeah.
It's a nice looking livery, but let's go back to the more important stuff. Simply going up to the main straight, and he will set a 1:18.2. I was close though with my prediction. I said a 1:81.
Nice lap there, and what a lap it was just from Tinas. Tinas, out of nowhere really, has just put in a 1:17.8. That's Red Bull 3 and 4 now. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get back in and get back out for another run with just 2 minutes on the clock. Maybe really pushing it, but Tinas in provisional P3 there. That's a fantastic lap from Tinas in the Red Bull.
That's a really good lap time, and then look at Red Bull. They are already leading constructors, so they find themselves in P3 and P4 for now. That's a really strong team result. And as we speak, Martin is starting his flying lap. His final flying lap of the evening. And he already has a 1:18.1. Do you think, can he improve by half a second?
It's a big ask, isn't it? I think there's not much in it though, is there? If you look at Martin's time, if he could just find 2-3 tenths, he could find himself on the second row of the grid. So that just shows you how tight the top of the standings are at the moment. And I can certainly well imagine Martin finding that sort of time. I'm just not sure if he could find 5, 6, maybe 7 tenths. So it's a big ask, a big question to ask of him. But let's hope he proves me wrong this evening. Tinas is retired from the session. That's him done for the evening. So everybody's out on their final laps, Mark. Just a few of them left on their out laps. Cannot wait to see who's going to get it. Is somebody going to keep hold of that first place?
Well, he's got a top spot now, and I'm riding about with Martin, and he is improving by just a little bit. So, no, he lost the car. Martin lost the car. He can continue, but of course his chances of a good lap time are completely gone now. Who do you think? Who can challenge Sunboy?
If anybody, I'm going to say Kuipers. Kuipers is very close. He's just started his flight now, going along that long right-hander. Kuipers is fractionally up as well in the first sector, so it might not take much to dislodge somebody, because he's not that far off him. But somebody has also just started his flying lap. So as JP, wow, where does that come from, Mark? JP has just gone and done a 1:17.7 in the Aston Martin. Incredible lap there.
Yeah, that's been an amazing lap. Oh, Kuipers had a bit of oversteer on the exit there, but he kept it clean. And Kuipers is a bit slower on his delta. Oh, and he lost it as well. He lost the rear end of the car. That's unfortunate. So, what is Michael Lutke going through? He's all the way down at P8. So he needs to fight some time. He wants to maintain that lead. So let's see what he can do.
Oh wow. Sorry, Sunboy is 2.5 tenths up in the second sector. Sunboy might be looking at a 17.4, even maybe a 17.3 around the time you were predicting. Sunboy through the final few corners here. He just needs to nail this final corner. He's definitely going to improve here, surely. It's just by how much. Here comes Sunboy across the line. It's a 17.3 mark. That's incredible.
That's a really good lap time. That's a really, really strong lap time, and I can't see anyone else beat that time now. That's a brilliant lap there for the Dutchman, and a 17.386. That's a strong time. And that's so important around this track, because as we've seen yesterday in the F1 race, it is difficult to overtake around here. It's easy to follow, but it's so difficult to overtake. So great lap. Burmeister is hoping for a clean race. Well, I honestly can't see they top the amounts of spin we've seen last week, so that should be okay. But of course, the weather can play a factor as well in the race. But let's go back for this quali. Kuipers is going into the pits, and I think that's the quali done.
It looks that way, Mark. Huge congratulations for somebody, but I have to say, what a lap that was from JP. I'm a bit disappointed I missed it, but from facing the wrong way near the pit entrance to pulling out to second place, that is some going, because it could easily knock your confidence when you have a moment like that, and you might take a few tenths off your time going through there just to make sure you get it right. But no confidence knocked at all from him. Lodges himself into second place on the front row, and it's been a difficult start for our F3 champion of last season, but it's really good to see him right up there in second place.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really good lap time, really strong. And yeah, congrats for Sunboy. I think it is his first pole position of the season, of course. So Sunboy takes the pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix. JP in the Aston Martin with quite a surprise lap time in P2. Kuipers P3, Tirach in P4, Simon Palmer P5, Michael Lutke in P6 and Tines in P7. The both Red Bull drivers close together. Dave in P8, JSP takes P9, Martin P10, Smoke P11. In 12th, Waitsy, the new driver on the grid for tonight, Simply P13, Ginger Tiger 14th. Joe Hamster had another good qualifying, P15, Russman P16, Louis 17 and Trems in the back of the grid, P18. So let's see what this race will bring. Will we see a wet race start? Or is it going to be a dry one?
Well, not everybody's quite sure what they're going to get here. And from a selfish point of view, just for people watching and for us commentating, I'd quite like a wet race. We'd always tend to have some interesting battles and strategies and everything, don't we, when we get a wet race? We're about to find out. It's the suspense killer. Oh, wow, look at that.
That is not a little bit wet, mate. This is full wet conditions.
Wow. Well, I don't think we're going to be seeing anybody on slick tyres.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. This will be really tricky. But who is your early favorite for this race?
I cannot call. I honestly cannot call. We haven't seen these guys racing in these conditions yet this season, and I honestly don't know who will have put the time in to practice.
Yeah, if you actually practice and got a wet setup, you will be smiling right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. But not. That's the thing, though. I don't know about yourself, but you tend to do a lot of practice for your race ahead. But sometimes you kind of forget about doing the wet side of it, and when these situations come, it's pretty much your worst nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, Robin is kind of reacting to that. Who ever practices in the wet, mate?
Well, days like this is worth it, though, isn't it? Days like this, because like you just said, if you've got yourself a wet setup, you are absolutely laughing. So I doubt very much many people will have practiced in the wet, especially in these conditions. We are just starting out. I couldn't possibly predict who's going to win. Never mind who's going to be on the podium. This could be anybody's tonight. Anybody all the way down the grid, I think, has got a chance here. If they can keep it on the track and keep it tidy, I think anybody at all can win tonight. It's such a lottery.
Definitely. But we will be going straight into the race. So this is the PlayStation F2 League, brought to you in partnership with gridfinder.com. And let's see what the guys can do. We are going to the grid right now. Here we are. Sunboy in pole position with the 4-5 red lights. And there we go, we are on the way. Sunboy gets, I think, a decent start. Kuipers lost a bit of places there, but Sunboy is really fast off the line. I don't think anyone can challenge him there. Oh, but Simon tries to. Oh, and Aston Martin goes really deep, but hits no one. That's good to see, but JP got a 3-second time penalty for that. A Haas car runs wide as well, but Simon is into the lead of this Grand Prix after turn 1. That's well done to him. Good start. It was a
really
massive
good
dive.
Start.
Yeah.
I'm amazed JP didn't take anybody out. He just got his braking horribly wrong, didn't he? And picks up an early penalty, which I'm sure he won't be the first or last person to. He is the first person, but he won't be the last person to pick up a penalty this evening. And I have to say, big up to everybody so far. Apart from SFR Martin has just lost it at, it looks like, turn 5 there, Mark. So last week's race winner is finding himself at the back of the field as Joe Hamster now has also had an issue. Waitsy has collided with him because Waitsy has got a 5-second penalty for severe collision. So, yeah, I don't think this is I was just about to say this is a clean start to the first lap, but it's not quite so now. They've got stuck into it.
We can see like a 4-car battle here for P5. It's really close together as JSP catches Michael Lutke and someone's around. Sunboy, our pole sitter is around. And he drops all the way down to last place. That's unfortunate for him. But a strong start for Simon Palmer in the Alfa Romeo. The gap is already up to almost 4 seconds now.
Wow. And Tirak now is going to make a move, is he? No, he was trying to move on JP for second place, but Tirak can't get the move done. It's JP wobbling all the way through turn 3. That car looks very uncomfortable and nervous going through that corner. He's definitely not flat out through there tonight. So Tirak's just got to play it sensible, I think, here, and not collide with JP. Oh, Tirak's lost it. Tirak has lost it, and it just shows you, doesn't it, how tricky these conditions are. I think he's got away without getting any damage there, Mark, and he drops him down to P4. He did bang the wall, but I don't believe he's got any wing damage, which if he hasn't, he's very lucky and he can fight on for another day, but he has just dropped to P5 behind Kuipers.
Yeah, no, there's no visual damage to his car, but he lost a couple of positions, and of course his tires are not going to like that. And JSP is really close now, and he uses the ERS. Is he going to dive up the inside? No, he is not. He was definitely thinking.
We might have a safety car. Waitsy has lost it on the. Yeah, we have a safety car, Mark. Waitsy. The right-hander going on to the second DRS straight. Waitsy, I think, just ran wide and then hit the wall on the right-hand side. There's a lot of debris there. Kuipers. Wow, he's got a drive-through penalty speeding under the same, and our race leader, Mark. Our race leader has a drive-through penalty for speeding under yellow flags. Wow, that is huge, especially after an amazing start from Simon Palmer. That's devastating for him.
Yeah, drive-through penalty there. Kuipers is serving it immediately. Kuipers actually needed to stand still on track there for quite a while, but it didn't work out for him.
Are you able to serve a drive-through penalty under safety car conditions, though? I don't believe you are. No, he's actually pitting. No, he's pitting. So, Kuipers into the pit for a brand new set of medium tyres, wet tyres, I should say. Definitely not mediums, I promise you. So, Kuipers down to P15, but he will have to drive through again. Joe Hamster also into the pit lane. Simply has had an issue somewhere along the way because Simply is way off at the back in P17. I believe he must have some sort of damage when he's driving. No, he's not. He's carrying on. He must be finding conditions rather tricky. But yeah, that is devastating for Simon Palmer, especially because he can't serve this drive-through until after the safety car's done, and then he's going to find himself at the back of the field when he eventually does get his drive-through done.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Kessa just said in the chat, Simon had a 15-second red delta and had to stop on track. It's a glitch in the game. And just some information about Waitsy. He got a rear diffuser damage due to someone smashing into him. And then his race was over and done, I'm afraid.
That's a shame, isn't it? It was good to see somebody new on the grid this evening. It's just a shame how it's turned out. These conditions not doing anybody a favour this evening. So that gives us a chance, Mark, to just have a quick breather. 3 laps and it's been absolute chaos, which to be honest I expected in these conditions. Simon Palmer was doing fantastic until that unfortunate glitch with the Delta. So with Simon Palmer having to drop back, JP will be taking the lead. Tirak has pitted, Mark.
Yeah, what is he going to do? Is he trying the inters maybe? I can't see it being dry enough for inters, right?
Surely not.
Why is he pitting now then?
I didn't see any damage on his car.
He is going for the intermediate tires.
Wow.
That's a massive gamble for Tirak.
Huh.
But if this pays off, he will be fighting near to the front now.
Wow. He'll be one to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what times he can do. But first of all, he needs to close up. The gap is only 5 seconds with Joe Hamster in P15. But he gave up a lot of positions, and as we know, it's so tricky to overtake around here. But yeah, Simon, I mean, will be he will be upset. He got a drive-through penalty. He can't serve it, and of course I'm not a race steward, but I don't think stewards can do anything about a drive-through penalty. You don't know what time you lost. It's not like a time penalty they can get rid of. So that's
yeah. It's really unfortunate to get something like that time delta. I think I had similar issues, not as drastic as 15 seconds, but in Bahrain we pretty much in F3 had to come to an almost stop on the track because we had around 7-8 seconds. But safety car in this lap, Mark. Simon Palmer won't still be able to serve the drive-through, but what he can do is hold this pack up now and maybe try and build a gap and nullify this this drive-through as best he can, and hope some guys behind him maybe trip up over each other or maybe have issues so he's not losing out too much. So Simon Palmer leading the pack round to restart this race.
Yeah, let's see when he chooses to go on the throttle, and would he do it before the last corner, or maybe just if he is waiting as long as possible to minimize the slipstream for other guys. Oh,
he's lost it.
He's lost the car. He was just too eager on the throttle then. He lost the car, and JP is now an 8-10 gap already to Dave de Kale. JSP is following really close. The gap is only 2 tenths between JSP and Dave. JSP goes for the overtake. He's on the inside, and he's got the job done. Well done to JSP. Up onto P2, but I feel for Simon there. That's unfortunate.
Two guys have just got 5 seconds worth of penalties for ignoring yellow flags as well, so I'm hoping that might be another glitch that can maybe be fixed. I'm not sure, but those guys have picked up 5 seconds. So JP versus JSP at the front, whereas Michael Lutke now, our championship leader, is having a good old battle here with Dave de Kale for third place. Dave de Kale and Michael Lutke bang wheels slightly. They're going side by side here. Surely they cannot both go side by side through the next corner. No, they can't. Michael Lutke has to give that up, and it's the sister of the Red Bull, the AlphaTauri, versus each other. Michael Lutke having a good race so far in P4, but the battles are further ahead because Dave de Kale is losing out from second and first. JP versus JSP.
And Russman is trying is around the outside of Tines in the new corner at the end of sector 2, and it is not working out for him, but he tried, and that's what I like to see now. So that's a good effort, and JSP is catching JP, and JP already has a 3-second time penalty, so JSP is feeling good in this weather.
He is, and just looking a bit further back, what this battle is doing between Dave de Kale and Michael Lutke is it's dragging Smoke into this battle as well, and Tines and Russman and Louis and Trems, but Smoke is right on the back of Michael Lutke now. Smoke eyeing up potentially a good result this evening. Dave de Kale really losing a lot of time in these conditions, 2 and a bit seconds now off the guys at the front, and he's starting to really hold up Michael Lutke. Michael Lutke really is pushing that AlphaTauri along, and I'm just quickly looking further back, and Tarak is not doing too bad on those intermediates, Mark. He's just got up into P13.
Yeah, he is making up positions, and let's keep an eye on him. He is closing the gap to Sunboy pretty fast as well. Yeah, that will be interesting to see. And for Michael Lutke, he is under full pressure of Smoke, but he needs to get past Dave as soon as possible because the gap is opening up. Kessa in the stream is asking, there are so many glitches. Is this race potentially going to be rerun later this season? I can't see that happening, mate. I can't see that happening, I'm afraid.
This is one hell of a Dave de Kale train we've got on here. 3rd down to 9th are all pretty much hanging on to the back of each other here. Train of cars going through this final sector. You've got to be really careful in this situation, these conditions, haven't you? Because you don't want to slightly outbrake yourself because you find yourself burying into 2 or 3 cars ahead of you. So you've got to play this right. Michael Lutke began very frustrated that he's not able to claim Dave de Kale, which is now gone. Oh, we've lost Louis. I think we've lost Louis.
Sorry to
we've lost Louis.
Oh, I thought we saw a battle for the race lead here with JSP, but he backed out of it. Sorry, you were saying Louis. What happened to him?
Yeah, Louis on the final corner. I didn't see what happened, but unfortunately he was in that pack, that train, and he now finds himself down in P15. And I have to say, just looking a bit further up, Tarak isn't doing too bad at all on those intermediate tires. He's basically testing them out for everybody, isn't he, at the moment? But he's hanging on nicely there, and he's looking to catch Sunboy up, who was leading this race. And Sunboy is now down in P11. He's recovering nicely, but not where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think Tirak is showing all the other drivers that the Inters are actually a pretty fast race tire now, and I think...
Oh.
What happened there, Alan?
Russman and Tinas side by side. Wow, that is fantastic racing from Russman and Tinas. Side by side through the corner. Russman eventually has to give that position up, and Tinas stays in P6. But carry on, Mark, sorry.
No, there's no problem, mate. No problem at all. Let's see what Michael Lutke can do. The gap is only 2/10 behind Dave, and Dave is holding everyone up. So if Michael gets past, I think he will be running away. So let's see who has the better exit coming up to the main straight. The gap is only 3/10. The slipstream will be there. I think Michael got the better exit. Can he get the move done now on the main straight? He is in the slipstream.
No. Go on.
Let's see what he can do into turn 1. He chooses the... No, he can't make it. Oh, and there was slight contact between Dave and Michael, but both drivers kept it on track. But Smoke, he is trying to get a place of Michael now. Oh, this is close racing. 3 cars within like 1/10 of each other. Michael goes for the inside there. That will turn to the outside. And he can't make it stick. The cars almost collided there. Smoke actually got past Michael Lutke now. Smoke got past Michael. That's a really good move. And Smoke, he will be looking to challenge Dave now. While SFR Martin has not as good of a race as last week. He's already collected 15 seconds of time penalties and he is driving around the P16. That's a shame for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, he got all out of shape in the final corner, unfortunately, and then he was all out of shape again, which gave him a 10 seconds worth of penalty for exceeding track limits. I think it was a bit harsh. He's clearly got an issue with the car and he's struggling to get it moved. But also we had an issue, Mark, with Tinas. Tinas has dropped out of this battle now. He lost the car briefly. He's got going again, but it's dropped him down to P11 now. So Tinas, who was running comfortably in the top 10, is finding himself struggling now down in P11.
That is unfortunate. And we see a yellow in sector 3. Who is that?
Sunboy, but look ahead, Mark. Smoke has got the jump on Dave DeCarla into the first and second corner. Smoke having an excellent race this evening round the long right hander now. What can Smoke do? Can he get away from Dave DeCarla? And oh, JSP's lost it somewhere as well. JSP's falling down the order. So Smoke is in second place now. What has happened to JSP there?
Wow, and meanwhile, Russman managed to get past Michael Lutke as well. So much happening at the same time. JSP lost another position now. His tires are not liking this, I think. And we see a second runner on the intermediate tires. Louis decided to go to the inters as well at the back of the grid.
This is turning out, Mark, to be a very good race for the Mercedes team. I predicted that Smoke might have a good race this evening, and so far he's looking that way. If he can keep bridging the gap between himself and Dave DeCarlo, and there are no battles there, which it looks like he is. He's nearly stretched out to a second now. Then Smoke can focus on looking at trying to reel in that Aston Martin ahead. JP having a decent race so far out in front. He'll be hoping that Smoke doesn't make too much inroads on him, but Smoke already got it less than 3 seconds. It was 3.1 seconds. It's already down to 2.4 seconds now. So Smoke absolutely flying here.
Yeah, while riding aboard the trams, and he is so close in the gearbox of Michael Lutke. Goes on the inside in turn 1. He's late on the braking. Can he get the move done in turn 1 on Michael Lutke? I think he can. A really good move for trams there into P5 in the Haas. And Michael Lutke seems to struggle now on the full west. What will you do, Adam? Would you pit for inters now? What is the perfect point to pit? Because I think if you're looking at Tirach, he can make this work. He is flying on those Inter tires. So what would you do?
It's a good question, isn't it? I'm thinking if I'm stuck in that train of cars in the middle of the top 10, I may gamble. Look at that, there you go. Lewis just done the fastest lap on a set of intermediate tyres, so you're probably right. Intermediate tyres is probably the way to go. Now, if I was in the middle of that pack of cars in the top 10, I would throw it in now, get some clean air, get away from these guys and focus on trying to get an undercut on these guys. As Dave DeCarlo and Russman are battling here, can Dave DeCarlo lose 2 places here? Trems is also trying it on. Trems not able to get the move done, but what is the race leader going to do? We're on lap 10. JP coming around the final few points. Is he going to dive into the pits? Is he going to dive into the pits? No, he's not. So JP will smoke dive into the pits. No, he's not either. So none of the front running guys are thinking about the intermediate tyres, but it's looking like the intermediate tyres are the way to go.
I think they are extending just a little bit so they can go to the end on the Inters, because I think if you pit right now, I think it is possible. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is just possible. But if you can just extend this stint with just a couple of more laps, you make your whole life a lot easier, because Tirach might be flying, but he needs to pit again. And Louis, he will struggle massively to the end. So, and Kessa is reporting JP has just left. And that is true, his car is ghosting. Our race leader is no longer in this session.
Oh no.
The smoke is catching up really quickly. The gap is coming down, and it's only half a second now. That is unfortunate.
Devastating. Oh.
And that's a yellow in sector 2, that's Simon Palmer. He lost the car while JP is back in the session. But Smoke actually overtook his ghost car. And Smoke is in the lead of this race.
Wow. But can JP get back into his car before Russman overtakes him? This could be a Mercedes 1 and 2. JP needs to hurry up and select his car. No, he's left the session again, so he's clearly having issues. This should be a Mercedes 1 and 2 once Russman can navigate this ghost car. And yeah, wow, this is turning out to be an incredible evening for the Mercedes team. Smoke in first now. Russman should just cruise past this ghost car now. That's really unfortunate for JP, who's having such a good race up until these connection issues. I just hope he can get back in and try and recover somewhat. But there you go, look. Russman into P2, Mercedes first and second.
Yeah, that's a good effort, and both of the Mercs in P1, P2. So that's, yeah, this is looking to be a really, really good day for the Mercedes drivers. But there's still a long, long way to go. We're not even at the halfway point. We are getting close to the halfway point, so I think this might be a good question to ask to you, all the viewers. So far, out of all these 16 drivers who are still running, who did impress you most in the first couple of laps in this race? Let us know. Let us know who has impressed you most in the first 12 laps. Let's see what Trems can do. He is following Dave. Dave is still holding on at P3. And, well, I was going to call it a DRS train, but that's not possible in the wet, so I'm just going to call it a Dave train. And Trems was almost losing the car, but he kept it together and he managed to stay close as well. That harsh nose is almost in the gearbox of the Alpha Tauri. I think we can see him move coming up on the start-finish straight for Trems. He seems to have found the speed. The gap is only 3/10 now. If he can nail this final exit, I think he has a really good chance. And I think the exit is just a little bit better for Trems. So the gap is 0.2 of a second, and I believe there's no defending for Dave. But Dave actually has a really good straight line speed. Trems going forward on the inside, and he decides to back out of it. He decides to back out while JP is rejoining the lobby, so hopefully he can rejoin his car as well, to still get a good result.
I'm just keeping an eye on Tirak and Tinas, and Tirak's just made a mistake, and that's allowed Tinas to get through simply now, thinking he can have a piece of this as well. So as we see Joe Hampshire pick up the fastest lap in his McLaren down in P14. But yeah, the track made a slight mistake and it opened the door for Tinas to walk through. So after Tinas had this slight off earlier, he's recovering nicely here. But Tarak was going really well and he was hanging on to the back of Ginger Tiger. So that's a shame for him to have that mistake on those inters. But he just needs to keep his head down and try and retake the position off of Tinas. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3, Mark. Who's that for?
Sunboy.
Yeah, it's just gone from bad to worse, unfortunately, for Sunboy.
It is, it is. Let's see, Trems and Dave are fighting this out now, and Dave's still in front. And as an answer to my question earlier, Daryl mentioned Russman, didn't he start P16? Well, that's a really good run for Russman.
Yeah.
He was, so he's really good. Burmeister thinks simply, he managed life the best. Well, yeah, simply in P9. It's Lucas steady as well. Rens thinks Simon was doing really good, JP as well. But both of them lost out. But we see Trems here doing the overtake on Dave the car in 2-1, but Dave fights back. And Trems got the move done, but this brings Michael back into the game as well. Michael on the inside of Trems. And he decides to back out of that move. He could have thrown it up on the inside, but he decides to stay behind. You know, they are fighting in the constructor, so they need the points. He can't do any really risky moves now.
Just to give you a little update, Mark, JP has managed to get back into his car after those connection issues, but unfortunately from P1 where he had them, he's now down in P10. He's got a bit of a gap to Kuipers in P11, but the next task is to try and work his way back up into the top 10 and try and further into the top 10 and try and score good points. But still a long way to go in this race, so see what JP can do. This battle, Mark, between Dave DeCarlo, Michael Lutke and Ginger Tiger, we've not spoke about much, is heating up and it's bringing Tinas along with it as well.
Yeah, Ginger is still there and the gap is only 0.4 of a second. And what will be interesting to see is what the drivers will do on the tire strategy. Oh. Will they go for the undercut, the overcut? And we see actually Tinas coming into the pit, so he will try the undercut, and I am pretty sure he will be going to the inter tires. Let's see what the Red Bull pit crew will put on, and let's see. He is going to the full wets again. Wow. Tinas is going to the full wets again. Well, clearly it shows. I thought the inters were quicker, but maybe Tinas can prove us wrong.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that, to be honest, because the inters are working nicely. Tarak is now starting to get back within 1 second of Ginger Tiger now, so after that small mistake, Tarak is reeling in Ginger Tiger once again. But so far it's a very, I wouldn't say comfortable, but nice race for the Mercedes at the moment. But Russman is reeling in smoke now. Team orders have got to be in play here. You don't want to be battling each other and losing time to trends behind. So do they have a word with each other and say, just hold position for now, or do they go a case of, right, you're quicker, I'll let you through? How would you play this in this tricky conditions, Mark?
I always play the team game. That's what I do with my teammates Robin in F1 as well. And yeah, that helps secure us a really strong position in the constructors as well. But let's see what Smoke or Russman are going to do. It's still early season, so maybe Smoke is saying, well, I'm going to fight for my title, and maybe Russman is going to do exactly the same.
Trems is into the pits, by the way, Mark. He was P3 behind that 1-2 Mercedes. What does Trems do here? Does he go the same way as Tinas, full wets? He has gone for full wets again.
Full wets again.
Wow.
And Michael Lutke goes for the inters.
There's some mixed strategies here, and that's what I love about these conditions, because people try different things, and some people might not be comfortable with going with the intermediate tyre at this stage. But as you say, Michael Lutke comes back out onto the track in P11 on fresh intermediate tyres, 2 seconds behind JSP in 10th.
Yes, and Burmeister is mentioning the inters are not quicker at the moment. simply gaining on Tirach. Could be because of the tire wear on Tirach's tires. He had a couple of mistakes, already 12 laps old, so let's see what the likes of Michael Lutke can do now with a brand new set of intermediates. Burmeister is also saying Kuipers, the early pit stop can pay off. Can do. Let's see. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. And Robin is also mentioning at least Smoke isn't on the hard tires. Well, no. Luckily he is not, mate. Because that would have been awful in these conditions. But I think he's mentioning it to our Austria Grand Prix where I was in the wet and he was on the inters.
Dave DeCarlo has pitted Mark, the Alpha Tauri driver. Now, I can't tell you what he's going to go for here. Dave DeCarlo pulls into his box and it's another set of full wet tyres for Dave DeCarlo as well. So a few people thinking the inters are working, but the majority of people are not liking them just yet. It's interesting calls here. Where's this going to feed Dave DeCarlo at? Is Michael Lutke going to be able to get the jump, the undercut on Dave DeCarlo? It's going to be side by side into turn one, but Michael Lutke should get it done, and he does.
He does.
That's nice from Michael Lutke. He gets ahead of Dave DeCarlo, so Dave DeCarlo is going to be on sort of threat here from Joe Hamster around the outside. Wow, can Joe Hamster get this done? He can. What a move. And Tinas and Joe Hamster have both overtaken Dave DeCarlo there, so Dave DeCarlo, that'll be disaster for him. He'll be hoping to be battling with Michael Lutke, and now he finds himself with two cars between him and the Red Bull. That's a disaster for Dave DeCarlo.
Yeah, definitely. And Burmeister in the chat, don't they know that they don't have to pit? Oh no, someone's off. There was a Red Bull. A Red Bull, I think that's Tinas.
Yeah.
Tinas is off. And I can't see any damage on the car though. You will be incredibly lucky there. I'm not too sure how long the wet tires can actually hold on. Can you do like a full race on wets? I don't know. I'm not sure. Simply goes into the pits as well. Let's see what tires he brings on his Williams car into the pit box, and he will go to full wets as well. So most of the drivers go to full wets.
Oh, Joe Hamster is showing that these intermediate tyres are working nicely, because there's a great battle between him and Michael Lutke. Michael Lutke, remember, has only just gone onto those intermediate tyres, whereas Joe Hamster's had a few laps now on those tyres to really get him into a position where he's comfortable with. And Joe Hamster now into P8. It was a lovely overtake there from Joe on Michael Lutke, and that again is not what Michael needs either. He's trying to focus on going to the battles at the front, and unfortunately since he's come out from the pit box, he's just gone backwards. So Joe Hamster now is going to push for P7, JSP and P7, half a second off the P7.
Yeah, and meanwhile Tirach closed the gap to Ginger Tiger. It was just 0.4 of a second. And he's on pretty old intermediate tires, 14 laps old, so let's see if he can actually overtake the Aston Martin of Ginger. He is closing in, and they are coming up to the start-finish straight.
Oh no. Trems has just absolutely walloped the wall on the right-hand side, and I'm amazed he's still in this race with how hard he's just hit that wall. Remember, he's also only just recently pitted. Russman has lost it, Mark. Oh no, he hasn't. He's pitted. Apologies. I had a panic attack then. I saw his name dropping down the audio as I was watching Trems, and I thought Russman had lost it, but no, my mistake. Russman, though, is on the intermediate tyre. Now, is that what his teammate will go for?
Yeah, let's wait and see. And Russman is going to the intermediate tires. So that's really interesting. So half of the grid chooses the inters and the other half is choosing the wets, but all the fastest laps coming in are all from the guys running into tires. Burr thinks you can do a full race on the wet tires. And we see Dave and Louis fighting it out now. Louis should have better temperatures in the inters, but they've got fresh wet tires. Let's see who will come out on top. So far, this race is completely unpredictable for me.
Yeah, I agree. And right now, Russman is under a bit of pressure since he's come out of the pits from JSP. But the problem JSP has got is he's got a McLaren all over the rear wing. Joe Hamster is looking very fast on those intermediate tyres this part of the race. And he just needs to try and clear that. Williams at the moment is not able to, which is giving Russman a bit of a breathe here, because Russman was only half a second ahead of JSP at one point. So this battle between JSP and Joe Hamsters kind of helped Russman out a bit as we see Tarak and JP into the pits, Mark.
Tarak and JP into the pits. Well, that will be interesting to see what they can do on the newer tires, but they will fall down quite a big gap, I think. Joe is trying to catch JSP on the straight. Gap is 3/10, but I don't think there's enough straight line speed. Meanwhile, a 10-second time penalty for Sunboy, and Simon is really pushing. This is the second fastest lap in a row. That's really good, but sorry that I don't.
I was just about to say, can you work this out? Tarak, who was looking pretty fast on a set of intermediates, is on wets now, full wets for Tarak. And he's under pressure from Lewis. Tarak now runs wide. Louis is an opportunity here. The door is open slightly. And Tarak fighting a McLaren here to try and hold on to PA. And Louis is round the outside of Tarak. Can he hold it? No, Tarak comes back at him. But that's a bit strange. Do you not think? Tarak, who looked strong on intermediate tyres, just bolted on a set of wets.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't feel that confident around on the tyres. He looked not that confident as well. He was sliding and had his moments, of course. Maybe he thought that's because of the tires. You never know. And Joe and JSP are side by side. They are side by side in sector 3. And Joe got the move done on JSP. That's a really good move. But now, if JSP gets a good exit out of the last chicane, he can actually get the place back maybe. But the exit of Joe Hamster is a lot better, and I think Inters are the way to go. What Burmeister is saying though, track position is key, and I got to agree with him, I think, because it's so difficult to overtake around here.
Yeah, I agree, especially in these conditions without the aid of DRS as well. It's a lot more difficult to find your moment to get the move done. But Joe Hamster, I have to say, this second half of this race, he is come alive on those intermediate tyres, and he was pretty much nowhere at the beginning of his race, and now he finds himself in P5. He's already pulled a 1.1 second gap to JSP in 6th place. So can Joe Hamster now look at maybe trying to reel in Russman ahead? So fantastic effort so far from Joe there.
Yeah, he is doing really good. And he has impressed Daryl as well, because he said Joe doesn't do normal overtakes, he's just really cool overtakes all over. Look back at Baku last year. Well, it will be kind of tough to do now, mate, because then we will all lose the stream, so I'm not going to do that. But Joe has done a brilliant job tonight, and I'm sure if he continues like this, could he be even challenging for a podium?
It's a good question, that, isn't it? The guys at the front are staying out at the moment. We've got a yellow flag. Simon Palmer, I think, lost it again. He has, unfortunately. Simon Palmer has lost it again, so he's dropped more places, unfortunately. That lightning pace on those intermediate tyres, I think maybe he's just pushed a bit too hard. I don't know. I didn't quite see the intro, but Simon Palmer got himself back down P14. But just going back to what I was saying, Mark, these guys are on 21 lap old wet tyres in first and second place. Surely they're going to be a bit tired by now, and they're going to start feeling a bit unsure or unsteady on their feet going through some of these corners.
Yeah, but if the information is
correct... JSP, sorry Mark, JSP has completely lost it. Unfortunately, JSP, who was well in the points, is now finding himself well outside the points, and I didn't see what happened there. He was facing the wrong way. JSP now down in P11. That's a shame for JSP, because he was having a good race up to that point.
Yeah, but no damage, Joe, as far as visual damage, so that's good for him. Louis is pushing as well, only 4/10 behind Tirach, while Louis is on the Inters, on old Inters, and Tirach is on new wet tires. And Rens is saying those wets will overheat pretty soon. I think so, but if the information given to us by Burmeister is correct, then you can actually finish the race on the same set of wets where you started on, we could see a really interesting ending of this race, because there's only 10 laps to go. And if Smoke and Jinja and Kuipers as well decide to just stay out, and Rusman is coming up behind them, this will be a magnificent ending of the race.
Russman has just lost nearly 2 seconds there through the final chicane. He got too deep, had to get onto the brakes, managed to save it, but he was 4.8 seconds ahead of Johansen. It was down to 2.8, but he's going back up to 3.2. So not too bad from Russman there, but it's something he did need.
I've just witnessed JSP coming into the pits with full on the brakes, full lock on all the tires, and he didn't get a time penalty, so that's good. But he went into the pits for intermediate tires. So he definitely feels it's the correct point to go to the inters, and I think as well. I think it eases off a little bit with the rain. So let's see on the penalties. So far we got 2 guys who got some time penalties. Ginger Tiger got 5 seconds, and JP911 has 3 seconds of time penalties. So I got to agree with Burmeister that Russman is in for a good shot, and I think Simon lost it again. Yeah, Simon Palmer is in the grass. It's one too many times for tonight, I'm afraid. But of course, it is tricky conditions, and he is riding the big sausage curb there, so that's maybe something you don't want to do that often. Let's see what Tirach can do. He is closing the gap to Michael Lutke. Coming up to the start-finish straight now. And Lutke goes all defensive, all the way to the right-hand side of the start-finish straight. Let's see what he can do in the next couple of laps. But oh, Louis, what is Louis doing on the inside of Tirach there? He was even with the right wheels. He was even in the grass. Wow. I don't know about you, but I'd rather not do that in these conditions.
He's flirting with danger, isn't he, there?
Yeah, he likes to play with fire, I guess. But hey, so far it paid him off. He is still on track. He is following Tirach really closely. And I think, oh, look at Russman go. He just cleaned 2 seconds in 1 lap to Kuipers. Intermediate tires is the way to go. There's only 9 laps to go for Smoke and Jinja. Of course, there is a gap, and if I would be Smoke, I think I would have stayed out. But maybe for Jinja, this is the time to come in. Of course, he will lose a lot of positions, but then he got fresh into tires for the last couple of laps. Because if he stays there with his time penalty, he will lose out on the podium, I think. Russman, fastest lap. He is flying. Russman is flying on the track. But for now, let's see what Tirach can do. Tirach is emptying his ERS to catch Michael Lutke, and he's got a lot of overspeed. He's going to send it into turn 1. But Lutke is so late under braking. And he still managed to keep it on track. Tirach goes really wide, and that opens the gap for Louis. Louis is on the inside, and Michael Lutke, I don't know what happened there, but he lost all pace. And Tirach went around the outside of Michael Lutke. What a move from Tirach! And then Louis, he got Michael Lutke as well. Wow, what's happening here, Adam?
I was not witnessing that, sorry, but it sounded incredible. I am keeping an eye on Russman. He's just done the fastest lap of the race by some way, and he is reeled in Kuipers within 1 second now. He can see Kuipers ahead, the AlphaTauri driver.
Oh, no.
I don't think...
Sorry to interrupt you, that Tramps completely lost his car, is out of the track. And, he's really lucky to continue there. Sorry to interrupt you there. Tramps is back on track in P11.
Russman is... It's a matter, I think, of when, not if, he overtakes Kuipers here. Kuipers does not look like he's going to have much in terms of defence against Russman. Russman is looking very fast on these intermediate tyres, 0.2 of a second now between 4th and 3rd place. Kuipers will try and make that car as wide and as difficult as possible to overtake, but I'm thinking Russman plays this right and keeps going at the pace he's going. I think P3 will be his pretty soon.
Yeah, I think so too. He definitely got the overspeed. So, but yeah, you can have a lot of overspeed, but you need to actually be able to do the move. And Russman is in the grass with his right hand side of the car, but still closes the gap. So that's impressive. And Waitsy is gutted to have suffered the damage here earlier, because he thinks he would have been involved in all these battles. So, well, hopefully you get a second chance soon, mate. Because there's a long season ahead. Russman only 0.2 behind. He is going to send it on the inside. Oh, there was a slight contact, I believe, and Russman is still in P4.
That was close, wasn't it? I was hoping that the pair of them wouldn't collide and wipe each other out, but it was hard racing but fair racing, and Kuipers, like I said, he's just going to try and make that car as difficult as possible to overtake, and Russman find it difficult. What this is doing, this is actually helping Ginger Tiger out with that penalty, but here comes Russman now, tucked under the rear wing of the AlphaTauri down the left hand side. Can P2 be his? I don't think Kuipers has got much to do here about that position, and there you go, Russman now into P3, and now if he can wipe out that 5-second gap ahead, we could have a Mercedes 1 and 2 here.
Well, he's almost got it already. The cap is 5.1 seconds, 5 seconds, and he is dipping under it. So Russman is already in the 4.9 seconds of Ginger Tiger. If he continues on like this, he will even catch him before the end of this race.
I will want to just say one thing though, Mark. Look at the gap between Ginger Tiger and Smoke. A few laps ago, it was over 6 seconds. It's dipping between 4 and 3.8 seconds now. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2, and it's Tirak. Tirak is out. No, he's not out of this race, but he's hit the wall quite considerably. Wow.
We have a safety car.
Wow.
And Russman stopped on track. Not sure what happened there.
I think it's the Delta thing again.
Oh,
Louis just got it. Smoke, I was watching Smoke and he was stationary as well, so that Delta issue once again. But this is disaster for Ginger Tiger, because with 6 laps to go and 5 seconds worth of penalties, Ginger Tiger's going to fall all the way down the order. He's got Ginger Tiger has now got that drive-through penalty as well. Oh dear, this is a disaster end to this race, and that's all become through whatever happened to Taraki. Taraka's not got a front wing, by the way.
Interestingly enough, Smoke stayed out. I would have pitted for the Inters now. He had quite a big gap.
And he was massively struggling. Up until that safety car, he was massively struggling because Ginger had taken 2.5 seconds out of his lead. Now Russman, his teammate, is behind on much newer intermediate tyres. Russman could be eyeing up a potential race win here. And look who's in P3, Mark.
Joe Hamster.
Joe Hamster. Wow.
There he is. Well,
I think this could be interesting because, Joe Hamster has looked really fast and Smoke on them really worn, wet tyres. Smoke could struggle here to hold even on to second place if Joe Hamster gets his wits about him and really goes for it at the end. This, I think, might have been the wrong call from Smokey. I hope I'm wrong, but with those really worn, wet tyres, I think surely Russman, this is going to be a race victory for him.
I'll tell you what, if Kuipers, Kuipers will be in P4. So, because Ginger and Louis both have to serve a drive-through penalty, so Kuipers of fresh intermediates will be in P4 right behind Joe Hamster on 17 laps old intermediate tyres. Then we have Russman with 9 laps old and 27 laps old wets, full wets for Smoke. I think Smoke could have made a gamble, and I think he will lose out on a podium to Russman, Joe and Kuipers as it stands. But riding behind the safety car now, we have a bit of a relaxed moment for now. everyone who is watching the stream right now, if you like what you've seen, please hit that like button. You know, it massively helps us out. So please do. And it also is a really good moment to let us know your predictions for the top 3. Who do you think will be a podium? For me personally, I think, and I'm not going to want to jinx anyone, but I'm going to say it anyway, I think Rustman has this in the bag. And P2, I don't know. If Kuipers can have a good restart, I think Kuipers might actually be able to get P2 and Joe will get P3. But yeah, let's see what will happen. What's happening in Sector 3?
I am not sure, to be honest, Mark, but I have to say, Smoke has been absolutely fantastic tonight, hasn't he? I think if the safety car didn't come out, I still think he would have gone on to win this race, even on those worn, wet tyres with the gap that he had. Even though Ginger was reeling him in somewhat, I think Smoke probably would have still won this race. But now I really don't know which way it's going to go. I can imagine those wet tyres are pretty much slicks at this point, how long he's been out there on them. But surely we're going to get the safety car in sooner rather than later. We're on lap 29 now. There's not going to be many laps left.
No, I think we will see one more lap behind the safety car. So that means we have like 3 racing laps. And I think there will be a couple too many for Smoke on the old wets. But you never know. It's in really tricky conditions. The tires, they are cold. The tires are cold. So yeah, it's easy to lose the car as well. Waitzy thinks Rustman will win Kuipers P2 and Joe in P3. Daryl is asking what the penalties are. Well, Gingy and Louis both with a drive-through and JP with 3 seconds. So this will be interesting. And Kessa saying everyone keeps getting red deltas out of nowhere. Well, luckily they all managed to not pick up another drive-through. But this is horrible for Jinja and Louis, because after the safety car comes in, they need to get back into the pits. For the drive-through, they will be riding last, I'm afraid.
This does, I think, if you think about it, I think this still does sort of play into Smoke's hands here, because let's hope the safety car does come in this lap, but that'll put it with just about 3 laps left. He just has to survive 3 laps. It's not like they're asking him to survive 10 laps on really worn tyres. I think if he can do the safety car properly at the end, not spin it or anything, and try and at least build a gap from his teammate at the back, then Smoke might still have a chance here with the minimum amount of laps left on this race. Who knows? I honestly can't call it. I don't want to personally predict a podium because I am afraid of giving commentators curse, but I do think the laps tumbling down under the safety car is going to be an advantage for Smoke, even though Smoke is on those really old, worn, wet tyres. He just has to try and survive for a few laps, but everybody now is in this safety car train, so surely we're going to get the safety car in now.
Yeah, it should be in at the end of this lap. If you were the Merc team, would you ask Rustman to defend against the quicker guys on Inters and let Smoke get the race win and secure a 1-2? Or would you do it the other way around? Let Smoke defend for his whole life on the old wets and let Rustman take an easy win?
That's a tough call, that really is, because you don't want to be trying to do anything too silly and allow Joe Hamster an easy move, or Ginger Tiger an easy. Oh, sorry, Ginger Tiger won't be with his drive-through. Joe Hamster will be hoping to attack it. So safety car in this lap, Mark. When is Smoke going to send it? I think he's gonna leave it as late as possible and then go.
Yeah, that would be the best option, I think. We will see 3 racing laps. 3 racing laps, and I think he is going. And Rustman has a really poor restart. As Smoke already has a gap for 1.5 seconds, and Joe is closing down on Rustman. And Louis is in the pits immediately, and Ginger will follow him, I think, next lap. But let's stay near to the front. What will happen? Joe under braking. Russman needs to close his gap. The gap is already 2 seconds. Smoke is running away. I think we see tactics here from the Mercedes team.
I don't think it's quite tactics. Russman was sideways through the turn 3. Joe Hamster is pretty much hanging on to the back of that Mercedes here. If Joe Hamster can clear Russman now, then he has an opportunity. But look at that gap. It's only 3 seconds. I honestly think Russman is struggling here. Maybe hasn't got the temperature in his tires, but Joe Hamster certainly has got the temperature. He just can't get past that Mercedes right now.
Russman is losing so much time to Smoke on old full wet tires, 30 lap old full wet tires. I can't see this any other way than tactics, but I could be wrong, of course. Let's see what the final 2 laps of this race will do. Joe needs to pass. Kuipers is actually losing out quite a bit of time, which I'm surprised of with brand new intermediate tires. Ginger will come into the pits, I think, at the end of this lap for his drive-through time penalty. And he will be behind Louis as well. We see a yellow in sector 2 and 3. That's Simon. Simon lost the car. Let's go back to the front. Joe and Ginger both really close. Russman still struggling a little bit on the exit. But he has quite a bit of a gap now of 4 tenths. Joe is trying to close in, but it's really tricky to do. And he can't make it. So 2 laps to go, and we see Joe trying everything he can to get closer to Russman. The gap is 2 tenths.
It's close now.
It's close now. He is on the inside. Is he going to be late on the braking? He is, but so does Russman. Russman goes wide. No. Joe into P2. And what is Ginger Tiger doing here? Ginger is a bit further back than I was expecting him to be. But Joe into P2. What a good move. And then we have 1.5 laps to go. The gap is 3.2 seconds. What can he do on the intermediate tires?
Well, he's already taken half a second out of Smoke ahead. He's got it down to 3 seconds, 2.9 seconds now. The problem is, I think what Joe Hamster's going to have is he's going to run out of laps here. Joe Hamster is reeling in Smoke, but I think Smoke, because of that big gap he's managed to pull, I think will save him here. Unless Smoke's tyres well and truly go on that last lap, I think Joe Hamster just won't have quite enough time to not only gain on Smoke but pass him as well. It's down to 2.6 seconds now, so he's taking chunks of time out of Smoke here. This could actually be closer than I thought. 2.5 seconds. So Smoke really struggling here. Can he hang on?
This will be really interesting to see. We are coming up to the final lap of this race, and Ginger Tiger into the pits for his drive-through. This will promote Kuipers into P4. Russman is struggling way more than I would expect it.
Yes, I agree.
2.2 is the gap. I think Smoke has got this, or he makes a mistake. If he keeps it on track, I think he should be able to get this race win in the bag. What is the ERS levels? Is Daryl asking? That's a good question. Well, we see Smoke with a 54% and Joe with 35, if my eyes are seeing that correctly. It's tiny letters. But Smoke has got the more ERS, so even if Joe catches up with 1.4 seconds already, I don't think he got the outright pace to get the move done, because it's so tricky to overtake around sector 3. I tell you what, one more lap and Joe would have got him.
Well, yeah, I agree. One more lap is all he needed. If he could have got Russman a lap sooner, then I think Joe would have won this race. Unfortunately, just couldn't get past that Mercedes. But look how close it is now. It's been a fantastic effort, I have to say, from Smoke. Absolutely superb this evening. He just has to survive a few more corners, Mark, and he has done the perfect race.
Yeah, Michael Lutke, by the way, is really close to Kuipers, but I will stay to Smoke because he's on his final few corners. He's coming up to the start-finish straight. The gap is under a second, but Smoke will be coming up to the line and gets a checkered flag to take the Spanish Grand Prix race win. Well done to Smoke. He did a full race without any pit stop. Well done.
Wow.
Joe Hamster takes P2 and Russman will take the final podium position. Kuipers in P4, Simply P5. Michael Lutke takes P6. Dave in P7 trumps P8. JSP still takes P9 after a couple of spins. Tirach P10. Tinas P11. Simon Palmer P12. JP P13. Ginger Tiger Ginger Tiger is 14, and then we have Louis, who hasn't finished yet. He had an issue in the last lap, I think, but will be 15th position. What a race win!
Incredible. If you remember, who did I predict to be a dark horse tonight? I did say Smoke. I thought he had it in him this evening to get at least a podium. He's a fast driver, and yes, these conditions were a bit unpredictable, and sometimes you need the luck, but I think overall Smoke was absolutely superb this evening. Drove absolutely exceptional, and yeah, huge congratulations to Mercedes as well, a 1 and 3. I'm sure they weren't expecting that at the start of the evening.
No, that's a brilliant team result for Mercedes. And T-Rach in the chat is saying he had a Ferrari strategy today. Well, that's not what you want, I guess. But what a race we've seen. And yeah, I think Mercedes will be delighted with this double podium and Smoke. What a race. And I'm really curious if there was some team tactics or that Rosman was really that struggling after the safety car. Might be interesting to get to know in the podium interviews. Hopefully the guys will join in soon. These are the final race results, and Rosman sneaks in the fastest lap as well. I missed that during the race, but he got the fastest lap point. So that makes the day for Merc even better, I guess. So for now, the podium guys are slowly coming into the party for the podium interviews. Let's see if we can get everyone in. If you like what you've seen, for the guys in the chat and watching the stream, please like and subscribe this video. It really helps us out. And well, for me personally, I think this was a really good race, and I'm really happy to see less spins than last week. So that's good. We still saw a couple of them, of course, in this weather, but yeah, what else you can expect, of course. I think we got Joe already here. We are waiting for the Mercedes boys, Smoke and Rosman. Hopefully we can get him to join this chat.
Yeah, I haven't had any response, unfortunately, at the moment from the Mercedes guys, but I'll start off with second place, Joe Hamster. Good evening, Joe. That looked like an interesting race for yourself at the first half, and then the second half of the race, you just come alive, and maybe if you'd had one more lap, you could have won tonight.
Yeah, I was saying to Lewis, who was behind me originally, that I think one more lap and I potentially could have had Smoke. He was so much slower. I think Rosman did a really good job holding me back.
Yeah, it was indeed, and I'm just a bit distracted. I'm trying to get our guys into the chat. If you wouldn't mind carrying on, Mark, while I just try and get these guys in, and we'll hopefully get to speak to them shortly.
Yes, of course, of course. Joe, one other question. We've seen your race, of course, and we've seen some really good overtakes. So, what is your overall feeling after this race? What do you think? How would you describe it?
I don't know. Well, when I first pitted under the safety car, I just felt like I had no grip, so I put an extra couple of clicks of front wing on, and it just really hampered me. So when I pitted the second time, I took double off, so I had less than I had before, and it just felt so much grippier because I was oversteering through all the corners. So that less grip, that less front downforce around the corner was stopping the car going around as much. And I think with that confidence, I could just carry it around the outside of people.
All right, well, it worked for you, so well done. And one final question for me is: we saw a lot of guys deciding whether to go on brand new full wet tires or to go to the intermediates. You decided to go for the inters, of course, but was that the right call for you, or do you think the wets were actually better?
I think the inters somehow, even though it was absolutely chuck it down with rain, were way faster because Tarak pitted under the safety car for inters, which I actually said to Lewis at the time was a weird choice. He was just so much faster than me, pulling away. So I decided enough was enough on the wet, so I'll get on the inters early before everyone else pits and just go from there, really.
Well, thank you. It's your first podium of the season. Just one last question then for you, Joe. What are you thinking for the rest of the season? Are you thinking can you actually get more podiums, get yourself into the title fight, or what is your overall feeling?
I think this one's an anomaly, I'm going to be honest. I mean, you probably all saw my quali pace. It was questionable. I think this was purely just luck on the right tyres, etc.
Well, yeah, I don't think luck exists, mate. You need to be there. You need to be there to get it actually done. And you were there today, mate. So well done. Congrats on the podium.
Cheers, man, and congratulations to Russman and Smoke as well. They did a good job.
They actually did a really good drive. Ellen, are you back yet?
Yes, we've finally got the little issue solved. It just wouldn't send an invite out for some reason. But we have now got both the Mercedes guys in. Huge congratulations to the pair. We'll start with our race winner tonight. Smoke, congratulations. Absolutely mega job from you. Started the race on the wet tyres, didn't pit. Were you a bit twitchy at the end with the safety car coming in? But that gap you opened up really won you the race.
Yeah, I kind of committed to staying on the wets from about lap 5 onwards. I noticed that my tyre wear wasn't all that bad, but I can't really say too much about me getting this win. This was a team win. If it weren't for Russ, that wouldn't have happened. Me and him just stayed 1-2. He had the pace to overtake me early on in the race. He decided to sit behind, and we just tried to play the strategy game. So we covered off both sides with me on the wets, him on the inters. No, that's a team win. That isn't me.
Yeah, I have to say, Russman really did back you up well. We did say that in the commentary how you both played that really well this evening. So huge congratulations on the win. You thoroughly deserve that. Played it to perfection. And we'll move to your teammates now, Russman. Congratulations. You've just heard what we were saying. A mega job from yourself as well to help Smoke get the victory. It looked a little tough for you at the end. Were you just struggling for tyre temperature or grip at the end to keep Joe Hampstead behind you?
Yeah, I mean, the safety car was my worst night. Well, and Smoke's worst nightmare, to be fair. Came out at the wrong time. I felt it was a race that we dominated, really. Yeah, and we were sort of coasting home for a 1-2. Then the safety car came out, and yeah, completely different ball game from that point on. Yeah, I did what I could to sort of help Smoke out, but in regards to my own race, yeah, after the safety car, I felt so good on inters, like Joe said. I think it was the right tyre to be on. I definitely felt like I had the pace on inters, but on the safety car restart, I felt all at sea. The car felt all over the place. Yeah, man, I'm just gutted I couldn't hold on to P2 and bring it home for a 1-2, but, you know, still good points.
It really is. That's what you've just about. I was just about to say that to you. Even though it's disappointing you didn't bring home the 1 and 2, to bring home 1 and 3 is an excellent result for your team this evening. So, despite not getting P2, congratulations on an excellent drive this evening. And just quickly move back to Smoke. We saw a great result from yourself tonight. Is this where your season kick starts now and try and move up into the championship and start fighting for this championship and the constructors with your teammate?
I'd love to say yes. I'd absolutely love to say yes.
Say it then.
However, I think it's. I kind of think it's a bit of flash in the pan, to be honest. It's just kind of well, perfect storm.
Yeah.
It was literally a perfect storm. Having said that, we checked. We think that there might be a bug with the game, because the game said it was a rainy race, but when I checked the weather system to see where it was, that when it was going to rain to come in or when it's going to die off, just to try and plan something, it said dry for the entire race. So I had a dry setup on.
Oh, well, well, it worked out in the end. And we were struggling as well when we were in qualifying, because some people were telling us wet, some people were telling us dry. We couldn't work out. And then when we saw the rain in the pit lane, we thought, yeah, it's definitely not going to dry. But
Yeah.
in the end, it's worked out fantastic for you. So congratulations to the podium.
Thank you.
You guys have gave us a fantastic race this evening, well worth watching back. And Mark, they'd probably be glad to see the end of that rain, but for us as commentators and people watching, that was a brilliant race to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats to the podium. Amazing drive, amazing race. So congrats, enjoy it. Yeah, it was a brilliant race, and I think this brings a lot of guys back into the fight, especially, of course, the Merc guys in the constructors. They were already in P3 after the first 2 rounds and well, after this double podium, I'm sure they will be fighting for the top spot rather sooner than later. But let's wait and let's see what will happen next week around Imola, of course. But for now, this was the PlayStation F2 League. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we did. If you did, please like, subscribe. Well, you know what you need to do. Please hit that like button, and it just massively helps us out. Hopefully we see you all back next week, but don't go away too early. We have tomorrow as well with the PlayStation F3 League, and Thursday we are back with a realistic performance. Hopefully we'll see you then, and of course next week. Take care, enjoy your evening, and bye bye.